Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Nerd Herd family. How are you? How are you? Come on in the room. Come on in. I've missed you guys. I have missed you guys. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment when you come in the room. Be sure to thumbs up so that the algorithm knows that we're doing something over here worthy of attention. And come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We got some updates. I'll give you some time to come on in. Welcome, guys. Shout out to Dana. Shout out to Sassy Cassie, Kay Leg, Diane Brown, Kim. Hey, peeps. Robbie Jr. Come on in, guys. Stone by Design. How you guys been doing? I must say I've missed you guys, but I've enjoyed my short break. I just needed some me time. I made a couple of appearances on a few shows, and I see that people were taking my commentary on that show and using it as their own. So I figure, why not hear it from the horse's mouth? I was right on this case, and I was on someone else's show, and I commented on all of these things that were out in the lexicon, and I noticed that people were watching and they took my commentary and presented it as their own. Greetings, Lisa. Greetings, Kim. Greetings to all you guys. Come on in. Be sure when you guys come on in, you take your shoes off at the door. You know the rules. Take your shoes off at the door. Grab a pair of fuzzy socks out of the basket. Make yourself comfortable with family. Okay, all you got to do is email me. Look on the page on the channel bio. There should be my email, but the email for the show is the same as the name of the show, The Dopest Nerd. And just send me an email. It will be my pleasure. Greetings, guys. Give me 1 second. Let me go on mute for a second. Talk amongst yourself, guys. Come on in, guys. Come into the room. Come into the room. Shout out to the dopest mod, who is always Johnny on the spot, handling her business, making sure we address all issues, get everything done. Hi, guys. I missed you guys. Did you guys miss me? I missed you. I got a few emails from you guys, too. I'm back. I just needed a break. Thank you, Marcia. I'm so glad that you saw that on Popcorn Planet, because other content creators watched my information on Popcorn Planet and took it and presented it as their own. I've actually listened to them, and I know they're saying my words. I know my verbiage. I know how I present things. And they, what do I always say here? Cite your sources. The least they could do is say, according to Natanya, the dopest nerd, as she was on the Popcorn Planet thing. But, whatever. I will reiterate for myself. Let's see. And here's what it is. It's so first and foremost, guys, hey, come on in. Thank you so much, Sassy Cassie. I appreciate that. Let me put your post up. And here's the deal. I don't think that I think that in order to have a full understanding of what this case is, you have to have a deeper purview. And that's why my commentary is important. That's why I share what I share, because it is important to have a deeper purview. So, like I said on the screen, the dopest nerd, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Cite your sources. Give me credit when you use my commentary. Yeah, you. Yeah, you content creators out there taking my words from my appearance on Popcorn Planet and presenting it as your own. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for seeing my point of view, but that one is free. The rest you got to cite. How have you guys been? How have you guys been? Are you able to hear me, guys? Please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. I don't think you guys can hear me. What did I do? Are you guys able to hear me? I don't think so. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, because I had put it on mute. I wanted to make sure I was back in effect. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all your kind words. Thank you so much. And you guys can hear me clearly. So let's just touch up on what's been going on. As you guys know, I don't have to beat a unalived horse. You guys know about the updates that have been going on in the case, in the DiDDY case and jayZ case. I was on Popcorn Planet yesterday, and I had the liberty of being able to have a conversation with Andy and open his eyes and his perspective to another, well, give him a fresh perspective on what was going on. A lot of people were like, oh, Tony Buzbee's losing, and Spiro, whatever the pronunciation is. Spiro rolls off my tongue better. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Is wiping the floor with him and yada, 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 yada. But here's the thing I know. Those who have eyes to see and ears to hear can see this thing for a different thing. First and foremost, I can see the play. I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn. I know what city slickers do when they feel back to a wall and they want to throw up smoke and mirrors to push something away so that they can get it out of the lexicon. I know their motives. I know their tactics. I also know, greetings, nerds. Ooh, we are working on the merch. That's what we've been doing for the past few days. I cannot wait till you guys see this amazing merch. Oh my goodness. I can't wait till you see it. We're working on a whole lot of things. I missed you guys too. Thank you so much. This case is extremely messy. And I'm going to break down for you why. And so some of you may have seen me on Popcorn Planet yesterday. Others of you may not have seen me on Popcorn Planet. I'm going to go over some of the topics. I took the liberty of writing them down because I don't want to forget anything. And I think it's very important for what I'm going to share. Please, when you come in, please throw those thumbs up so the algorithm can send it out to everyone. A lot of people have been saying that, the hackation is upon us. You know how they do me. And of course, when they hear you on other platforms and you're giving very erstwhile and level-headed commentary, they're really going to hack you. So that's what I've been going through. Absolutely. It's coming, guys. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. And my son is in town. I picked up my oldest son today from the airport. He's in town, and I got my grandbaby here too. So we got a house full. But I had to go upstairs. Say, come on, guys, I got to go upstairs and go work. I missed you guys so much. So let's get to, shout out to the dopest mod. Shout out to Expressions of Miss Honesty. Shout out to Lakeisha, all of our mods. They are super dope. They make sure that they take care of our dopest mod family. Let's have a few drinks tonight, guys. Let the ladies know what you're drinking so that they can get you comfortable. Be sure we got enough fuzzy socks for all of you. Get on the couch, relax, put your feet up. Put your fuzzy socks on. We got some fuzzy socks coming in the merch too. I cannot wait for you guys to see this merch. But I digress. Let's get to the topic at hand. So, a lot of updates have taken place in this case. Let me take this banner off my face. I want to be able to communicate with you guys fully. A lot of updates have been going on in this case. And it's important for me to point out some very obvious flaws that I see. First and foremost, Shout out to Andy and It's Kim from the Popcorn Planet. They had me on yesterday, and I was able to give fresh perspective on what's going on. Shout out to all of the content creators that saw me on Andy and then took the perspective I gave and went on their channels and presented it as if it was their own ideas. Shout out to you guys. Shout out for loving nerd talk. Anyway, no shade, no tea, just saying it is what it is, because I can hear my voice back. I can hear my words back when other people try to recite what I said. I have a unique way of communicating, and I can always tell when somebody's repeating my words. And there's another content creator also who did a video about the case, especially pertaining to my case, and used all of my commentary. Never even cited that she used my commentary. I know she used my commentary because there are things that she said that are directly from, she literally binge watched all my videos. I can hear my voice out of her mouth, the things that she said. And then she took the liberty of calling me the woman, the woman, the woman. She finally said my name at some point, but that was a guilty conscience because she knew that she was pilfering all of my information. She gave details that only came from me. Nobody else could give those details, even about my injuries. So I know for a fact, she copied me. I think it's coffee and culture or something like that. Cite your sources, boo. No plagiarism. I digress. Let's move on. And so all of the updates in this case. First and foremost, I love you guys. I love you guys so much. I want you guys to not fall for the okie doke. You know how back in the days when shows like Housewives of Atlanta first came out, or Housewives of Orange County or whatever? Remember, at the end, they would show us the coming attraction for the next week, and they would show you some kind of suspenseful situation, and you'd be like, oh, girl, I got to watch next week. And when you watch next week, that scene never plays out. It was specifically edited to draw you in. That's what's happening here. All of this sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors, and all of this craziness is to draw you in. First and foremost, the attempt to file a Rule 11 and ask that the time for the filing to be minimized, instead of 21 days, to be minimized down to 1 day. Listen to me. That was very performative, super performative. It was never going to happen. It's illegal. Spiro knew that was not going to happen. That is what BSers do when they're trying to impress their clients that are not as well abreast of the law. That's what they do. It was pure BS. That would never have happened. The judge was not going to do it. Secondly, just because an attorney takes it upon himself to create a slideshow, invite a few media down who are amenable to his cause and his plight, his, point of view and his client, and act like we're doing this thing for the media, any lawyer worth their salt knows you don't try your case in public, in the court of public opinion. It doesn't matter. Once that case has been filed, you have to be adjudicated by a judge. So this whole histrionic, oh, they should throw these charges out now because her dad said he doesn't remember that. According to who? Did anyone see a video of her father? How do we even know her father is alive? Because NBC told you? In my opinion, them liars. Now y'all dealing with some liars now. let me come in and give some receipts and correct change and wrap you guys all up. Let me collect and gather some people. Just because NBC said something doesn't make it a fact. Why would you guys all hop on that 52 fake out? You have no proof that her father said that. You have no proof. What irrefutable proof do they have that the person they spoke to was her father? How did they actually get a hold of Jane Doe? She's a Jane Doe. How would NBC News get a hold of Jane Doe? You think maybe the defense got the witness information and provided it? How, if the client says he doesn't know the accuser's name, how in God's green earth does NBC have it? And why would NBC intercede in an ongoing case that is in the books and scheduled for adjudication? Why? Ask yourself. Now, this reporter on NBC, my opinion, has anybody looked her up? Did you ever hear that Rihanna became a billionaire because of Fenty? Are you guys familiar with that? Whoever's familiar with Rihanna becoming a billionaire because of her Fenty cosmetics line, put a 3 in the chat. I want to show you guys something. Put a 3 in the chat if you are familiar with the fact that Rihanna became a billionaire predicated on her film, her success as a recording artist, and the fact that she created a makeup line called Fenty. Let me illustrate something to you guys. Many of you are putting the 3 in the chat. You're aware of it. And so, you've heard of this family, the Kardashians, who are the finesse gods of society. Well, Kris wanted to also have the valuation of $1 billion for Kylie's cosmetics. So Kris, in tandem with her business manager, Lou Taylor, check out BJ Investigates and that surprise witness, BJ, our resident internet lawyer, who had done illustrious in-depth investigation on Lou Taylor. She had a whole thing going on. Well, the Kardashians are connected to Lou Taylor as their business manager. Also, Puffy, that's his business manager. There's a whole lot of connections. Well, guess what? When they wanted to put forth the notion that Kylie Cosmetics also had a high valuation and that she was a billionaire, they found themselves a little-known reporter who used to do these little shmoo pieces like such and such, like a lifestyle and thing reporter. They do those little pieces like, oh, today such and such has a new puppy and she does, that kind of crap. No disrespect to lifestyle reporters. They hired this this reporter and started doing all this work, having her constantly interview them and interview this next company and put forth publicly the notion that Kylie Cosmetics Company had this incredibly high valuation and that she had attained billionaire status, put this out there so that they could leverage that and be able to get loans. Guess who the reporter was? Same reporter who interviewed Jane Doe. You don't say. Now, why would NBC, the national broadcast channel, or whatever they stand for, I think it's National Broadcast Channel, long-term, one of the big 3 of networks, why would you go and interview an autistic woman who also has a traumatic brain injury and people understand? So let me give you a little background on my background in that. When I was younger, first of all, my mom, my grandmother, my sister, my brother-in-law, the one I called the night when I got pow-powed, my brother-in-law, whole bunch of us used to work for the New York State Office of Mental Retardation and Developmental Disabilities. We all worked there. And New York State Office of Mental Health. The mental health side is for people that have mental health issues, and the OMRDD side is for people that have developmental issues and delays. So that includes all the full spectrum. What used to be known as mental retardation is now known as behavioral. Well, some people call it behavioral health. That's more the mental health side, but developmental delays. As we progress as a society, the names modulate also so that they're respectful of the consumers. They used to be called clients, patients, they're called consumers. And so I worked in that field for many years. Not only did I just work in that field, I started out as a developmental aide. I went up to a case manager in no time. I became quality assurance coordinator. So trust me, my mother worked there and retired after 30-something years. My mother retired as the deputy director of affirmative action for the entire downstate and upstate OMRDD. So when it comes to autism and other developmental delays and disorders, this is my skill. This my baseline. This is what I know. Among all the other things I know. Why did NBC not start their show with, we want to warn you, we want to give a trigger warning, a sensitivity warning, because we are conducting an interview with the Jane Doe who has made allegations that she was essayed by Sean P. Diddy Combs, jayZ, and was witnessed by Celebrity B, a yet to be named celebrity, in a lawsuit filed by her attorney, Tony Buzby. We want to warn you, this topic is sensitive. And given the fact that our interviewee is a woman that has been diagnosed with a spectrum disorder, autism, and suffers from a traumatic brain injury, we have an emotional support person on staff to ensure that we are not putting too much pressure on this woman and that she is comfortable in this process. No, you interviewing her like she Pookie from the corner and she, did you know such and such? Well, there seems to be some problems. People who are on the spectrum cannot perform under pressure. You ever heard of something called a 504 plan? You get a 504 plan in school because people that have spectrum disorders and any type of developmental delays or any type of cognitive impairment need additional time when dealing with something. They don't work well under pressure. So all of this, blah, 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 all this, oh, she made a mistake. She said this, she has inconsistencies. Listen, a lot of y'all fall for the okie doke every single day. I keep telling y'all. Eyes to see, ears to hear. Here's one thing I know about New Yorkers, especially ones that deem themselves up here and everybody else down here. I know them. I'm from New York. They underestimate people. See, when you're from New York, you have this mentality that because New York was the financial epicenter of the world and the cultural epicenter of the world and music and entertainment and blah, 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 the birthplace of hip hop, everything else that falls under that criteria, you think New York is the world and everywhere else outside of the world is country bumpkins. I know, because I thought that too. Okay? The difference is I've been traveling since I was young. And so you get to interact with other people and you learn, although they are culturally different and a lot of verbiage and things like that are connected to the region that you're from, whether stateside or globally, it doesn't make anybody less than you. It just makes us extremely articulate and know how to pose something. Just because somebody says, hey there, good buddy, how's it going? Doesn't mean they're slow. And that's a little chip that New Yorkers got to get knocked off their shoulder. That is what they think of Tony Buzby. I want to make it clear. I am from Brooklyn. I'm telling you, when I moved to the South, it took me about 4 times for a Southern girl to say, yeah, you from New York. So if you feel all that, take your behind back to New York. What you down South for? Oh, I had to collect and gather my own daggone self. Okay. New Yorkers have a chip on their shoulder until they realize, until somebody from elsewhere whips, whop, and then they get it together. Now I'm gonna tell y'all that right there. Okay? Not the least of which is Tony Buzby is no fool. He understands that when dealing with people that have cognitive impairments, there are rules that apply. He was merely allowing this to get out, get past it, let you know her story. She has cognitive impairments. She has there are some disparities with some of the things and factual things she says. The law makes allowances for that. He knows that. But you see, when you got that chip on your shoulder and you think everybody's a country bumpkin, overestimating yourself and underestimating your opponent. The worst thing you could do is underestimate your opponent. I know lots of people that underestimated their opponent, and baby, they got served a plate of humble pie. Whoo, honey, and you know, humble pie is best served cold. You think Tony Buzby's a dum-dum? He let y'all get that out there so all of that can be on the table and washed away. Once it's out, it's like if you are 304 and you hiding it, you don't think your people know and nobody knows. So you're 304 when you go by your friend's house, but when you come home, you got the Bible, you prim and proper. Well, guess what? You're afraid that maybe you're not a 304 no more. You used to be one when you were younger, but you're still scared because this one saw you somewhere and that one saw you somewhere. But guess what? When somebody finally come out and say, she was a 304, right? And you think like, oh my God, my life is over. And then all of a sudden, you go on. Tomorrow, something else happens in the news cycle and then nobody's thinking about it. And you're like, whew, is that it? I thought these people was going to tear me to shreds. I know somebody who walked around like that, scared, thinking somebody was going to tear. I said, why are you worried about what the world thinks of you? You are who you say you are. Stop worrying about what the world thinks. Her worst fears brushed away like nothing. She lived ashamed of it for years. And guess what? All she was a product of her environment and a victim of essaying that became promiscuous at one point. She got past it, but she lived in the shadow of it for so long, she was afraid. Tony Buzbee understands you put something on a table and then it is no longer an issue. Not the least of which is he knows when an MF becomes unbothered or becomes bothered. You see, Mr. I'm unbothered, nothing don't bother me. Let me teach y'all something because this is my walk. I've walked this path. I know the play. I know how they get when they feel defensive. I know the whole charade. I watched it. Haven't I been telling y'all all along? I can see the play. This is my life. Only difference is now we got social media. I can see the play. Guess what? He played them right out of there. I'm unbothered. Remember what Brian Enton said to me when I was on News Nation? P. Diddy, they said he was unbothered. That's why he didn't take a plea because he knew he didn't do anything and he was unbothered. And I said, oh, he was absolutely bothered. He lost 45 pounds. You heard what they said about him in court yesterday? He is super gaunt, skinny, and he looks like he lost about 50 pounds. Now, have I been right or have I been right? These are two people that never respond to anybody. Never. You know how many things they've been accused of? You ever heard them respond and write a letter and put it on the internet? When? Never. The only two times that Puffy has ever responded to anything was in my case when he did that press conference with that, that attorney that I swear looked like he was on a coke high that we never saw again. I did not fire a gun in that club and cause harm to those people. That was the only time he had ever responded until enough is enough. Enough is enough. These are lies. It's a money grab. And then he had to come back on and be like, I was at a low place. I was at the lowest place of my. Those are his only two times responding publicly. And you want to know jayZ's only time responding publicly? This case. You see what happens when you so Mr. Cool, brush your shoulder off? He's brush your shoulder, or he's Mr. Brush your shoulder off himself. But guess what? All of the things he has been accused of, he has only ever responded on wax. He would have been better off dropping a diss record. But this time, you jumped out there and you wrote this long diatribe. You wrote this long email and put it out, or tweet, text, whatever, letter. I didn't do this. This is a money grab, da 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 da. Why? You're deviating from your, I didn't do it. You're deviating. And guess what you said in that letter? Everything except I didn't do it. Just like a certain, I was at my lowest point. They have never responded to anything except he responded to me and he responded to Cassie. And those are 25 years apart. Okay? Look at all other stuff he did in 25 years. Beating Steve Stout, beating the UCLA coach with a kettlebell, no shortage of things. Tell me what response has he ever said to anybody about any of those things? He doesn't answer. Brian Enton said on News Nation, he said he was unbothered in your case. He was unbothered. I said, that's a lie. He lost 45 pounds. He lost 50 in this one. You didn't see what they said. They said he looked gaunt. He looked emaciated, demonstrably thin, and grayer. And he just looked, they basically were saying, he's sick. That was the politically correct for, oh, that ninja sick. And he worried. Because you know our people. If you say he worried, that's not really worried. It ain't real till we say it twice. Oh, he worried. They worried. And Spiro thinks he's slick because he thought he was going to throw J-Lo's name in there too to deflect. Wax on, wax off. They're tearing each other down. It's about to implode, baby. It's about to implode. So first thing, Jane Doe is autistic and she has suffered a traumatic brain injury. Stop falling for the okie doke. Busby knew what was going to happen. The minute she came out and she sounded inconsistent or scared or whatever because she has a brain injury. I am the only nerd out here with a brain injury that is clear and concise and speaking it, crying aloud and spare not. I have a traumatic brain injury from that bullet, but no. The God I serve, honey, he came and said, I'm going to make this one strong and tall so she can cry loud and spare not for not just her, everybody else. Shout out to Jules Awake for gifting 10 Dopest Nerd memberships. Asheo, how grateful we are. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Y'all going to get this good tea. Welcome to the family, babe. Y'all going to get this good tea. Reaping what he sowed. Asheo. The father. No one saw an interview with the father. No one has seen a picture of the father. No one has seen a video of the father. No one has heard B-roll with an audio of the father. Nothing. But you let NBC play in your face. The father says he doesn't know. He had a lot going on. You know how often NBC misquotes people? When I got shot, they said her nose was blown off. She has a hole in her cheek. She has one eye. Even though I did a video with 2 eyes and my nose bandaged up, they said I had all measure of injuries. I have no lips. I have a hole blown in my cheek. Please. Why do you let the media continue to play in your face? Have I not told you about Project Mockingbird? Have I not told you? Have I not told you? You have got to be discerning ears, eyes and ears, eyes to see, ears to hear. You do not know anything about her father. For all we know, that girl's father's deceased. Did you hear her say, my father spoke to someone? Did you see a video? Anybody could tell y'all anything. I could blow smoke and tell you it's a cookout. Y'all be like, where the plates at? Stop falling for the okie doke. They are trying to bait and switch. They are trying to cause dissension by dropping nuggets. So by the time the trial gets here, y'all will be like, didn't that girl daddy say he know? What father is going to throw their child under the bus? When there's an ongoing case. What father's not going to say, hey, I'd rather not make a statement, let it get out, let it play out in court. And then in the quote, it says, the father said, I don't know. I think I would remember that. I got a lot going on. What he got going on? How we know her father don't toot a little powder? How we know he don't, we don't know anything about this man. How we know he wasn't victimized her at some point in her life? How do we know? How we know he ain't been paid? Because I told you, I have a friend who was with me when I got pow-powed, was on the phone with everybody all the days afterwards and months afterwards, year afterwards. And by the time we got to that trial, she said, I don't know, I was tying my shoes. You know how ludicrous that is, given the fact that somebody slapped him in the face with money and everybody was scurrying around for money? You bent down to tie your shoes. Here's the funny fact. You didn't even have shoelaces. You had on leather boots, long leather boots. But that's what money does. It makes people say weird things to somebody. There was a joke when she was pregnant that they used to joke and say, I'm her baby father, because I was always with her. I used to take her to all her prenatal. We was together every day. She'd be at my shop. I'd be at her house every day. But when it came down to that shmoney, that Skrilla, that bag, those tang make shoe, I got amnesia. I don't remember. It was so long ago. That was what, a year? How could I remember? Not the least of which is, it has been 25 years. December 27th, my 25th anniversary, will be 25 years from the day I got pow-powed. But guess what? I hope by now all of you have seen my reaction to the Proffer podcast, or gone to the Proffer and just watch the video. Watch my reaction video. How on earth, after you've seen the Proffer podcast, my reaction to it, they said in no uncertain terms, 350 people were interviewed that said they saw him firing guns and locked down their statement so that they could not change it. Where they at? You mean to tell me 350 people stayed quiet for 25 years? Where? How? How, Sway? Where they do that at? In these streets where everybody wants a little clout? As the young people say, he capping, he won't clout. Everybody wants to. Look, there was a guy who was Scar's friend that came out. I think he was on MREC TV. His name was Nino. I know Nino. Nino said, I'm Nino. That Shine keep talking about. Scar was my people's. He said, Shine keep putting me in the club. I didn't go that night. But I keep telling y'all he's a liar, but don't nobody want to listen to me. I keep telling y'all Shine is a liar. Nino came forward and said, Shine keeps saying, I was there. I was not there that night. I go all the time. I'm usually there. But that night, I was not there. But he keeps saying, Nino and them was in there. He's like, that's a lie. Go look for MREC TV. Shout out to MREC TV, another content creator. Also, we don't know the father's mental status. The father himself could have mental illness, because it's not uncommon when you have someone who has cognitive disabilities. A lot of times that is a tread in a family. It's a continuous trait. You don't know what the father's mental wellness or capacity is. You don't know what his status in life is. He could be we don't know. So people who got issues that need tissues would say anything, not the least of which is Buzbee released lawsuits with sworn affidavits with his former clients saying they were reached by jayZ's attorneys. Guess what? They were able to show the connection between the investigators, the attorneys, and the attorney and jayZ. This woman was on thing when Rock Nation had got some. She's like, oh, shout out to my Rock Nation family. It's so, in our small inner circle, we've done so much, blah, 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 blah. It's out there. Check the YouTube streets. The screenshots are out there. Ask yourself a question. If Tony Buzbee dropped the first 5 lawsuits, then he came back with 6, then I think afterwards he did another 7. How come none of these negative stories came out about Buzbee until jayZ was named? Ask yourself that. Not only does Buzbee have proof of their connection, they caught it on recording. Did you not read the entire written? They have it professionally certified, transcribed. You can't make this up. Stop believing, oh, he wiping the floor with Buzbee. Oh, he is Spiro. Y'all the same people that I interact with. When I go somewhere with my friends I meet in the South, they introduce me to people. They say, oh, this is my friend from New York. The same way New Yorkers got a chip on their shoulder, that's why. Because the people everywhere else treat New Yorkers like they better. Don't fall for the Spiro stuff. He got that New York big talk. I had those big city lawyers too. They do the big talk too. Don't fall for it. When they introduce me to people, they say, this my friend from New York. Except for the other ones who say, oh, you know that Puffy case? This is my friend. This is the lady that got shot by Puffy. Now, I'd rather say my acquaintances do that. My friends don't play that issue with me. But so many people, this is my friend from New York, because for some reason, to say this is my friend from New York gives them some sort of clout or some sort of affiliation. I'm connected to New York. The reason New Yorkers got a chip is because y'all gave it to them. I mean, well, put it like this. New Yorkers had a chip, but y'all reinforce it. Now, let's keep it a buck. Don't act like y'all don't know about this. If y'all know what I'm talking about, tell me. Because people want adjacency. We live in a world where everybody wants to be adjacent to something they deem of value. You understand? Something, you know what it is. The same way you somewhere with your girls and they be like, this my homegirl. Remember I told you the one that got that fly Gucci bag? You know what it is. They want to be adjacent to whatever their value system is. That is what they escalate you to. And then the people be like, oh, you from New York? My cousin lives in New York. They live in, what is it called again? Brooklyn. Her name is Lisa. You know her? She got a brother named Kenny. You know her? You know how big New York is? Tell me I'm saying something that's not true. Tell me I'm saying something that you've never heard before. New Yorkers can do a good big talk. That's what Spiro is doing. That is what Spiro is doing. Have you ever heard Douglas Wigdor do a slideshow for reporters? I mean, what in the... Ask yourself, why would an attorney, a highbrow attorney, high caliber attorney, why would you do a slideshow? And tell me what other case that he's ever tried that he's done a slideshow before. I'm waiting. Tell me. When PowerPoint Pete, there you go. When has he ever done a PowerPoint? When for a case? When? And I'm not just talking about a case. I'm talking about pre-trial, before you even get in court. Every attorney worth their salt knows you don't try your case in a court of public opinion. Have you seen Douglas Wigdor out here doing slideshows? Where? Have you seen any attorney worth their salt? Have you seen Tyrone Blackburn doing slideshow? Blackburn? I mean, he put pictures in his filings because that's how he does his filings. But he's not on everybody's TV screen. He's not out here on everybody's YouTube. This is a clown show. These are the utterings of someone who's nervous. This is what you call nervous energy, not the least of which is the young lady said, I was talking to Benji Madden and his brother. Y'all familiar with Benji Madden? Somebody tell me that you know what group Benji Madden is from? And do you know that he has a twin brother? The young lady said, I was talking to Benji Madden and his brother because he has a tattoo of the Last Supper on his arm. They are from a group called Good Charlotte. About to spin your head right round, right round. You know what Benji Madden is their mother's name. You want to know what their real last name is? Would you like to know what their real last name is? Combs. The Madden brothers are Combs. Combs. Just like Puffy. Like Sean Puffy. Yeah. Their last name is Combs. Is it so crazy for them to get on a plane? Maybe their tour was scheduled out in advance. And remember, they had just dropped their album. Good Charlotte dropped their album that year. They were not the star of the tour. They opened for this other group. They were the opening act. What would it take for them to jump on a plane and fly back to New York for the after party? These comments, oh, the Madden brothers, we have proof that the Madden brothers did not attend the VMAs. Ain't nobody say she didn't say there was. So you got to be careful of New York City slickers. Word semantics. The Madden brothers did not attend the VMAs that year. Neither did Jane Doe. She couldn't get in. She said she saw them at the party, the after party. Stop. Listen, I'm going to need people to stop playing in my face. Stop playing in my face. Listen for details. Listen for real details, not the things you want to hear. I always tell my kids, do not answer the question you want to have asked. Answer the question that was asked. Not the one you wanted to hear, the one that was asked. You know how disarming it looks when you make a statement saying, the Madden brothers management has confirmed they did not attend the VMAs that year because they were on tour. Yes, they were on tour. I can tell you the place they were on tour. I can tell you where their show was that night. I've done my own research. I can tell you where they were on tour. I can also tell you they were the opening act. And I can also tell you it's not guaranteed that they performed a show that night. Because guess what? For their entire tour, there is an actual website that will give you the set list for every single performance. Guess what night doesn't have a set list? Guess what night? That and a couple. I checked their entire tour schedule of 2000. Their entire tour schedule. I clicked on every date. Guess what? There isn't a set list for that night, because guess what? They might not have performed. There's also no, if you look at people, roadies and stuff like that, they follow all the tours around. There are people on these sites that list the set list and all these things about the tours, or especially those rock tours. And you will see people on Reddit, that has a ticket. When I was doing my research, somebody had put up the first day of the Jane Doe's testament, when the Jane Doe did the interview. Anybody got a ticket stub for that night? Ain't nobody answered. I ain't been back up on 2 days. Ain't nobody answered. No ticket stubs for that night for their show. Wonder how that could happen. And no set list, because maybe they didn't play that night. Because guess what? Lots of people are on tour, and there are dates in their tour that don't get played. Maybe they didn't realize when their tour was, maybe the tour was booked so far in advance, they didn't realize it coincided with the VMAs. Who knows what happened? There is no set list for that night. I've done my research. And you know me, I don't just say things, I back it up. Now, how could there be no set list? Is it possible that the show did not go on? Absolutely. And I can neither confirm or deny if the show went on, but I know one thing: for all their other tour dates, there's a set list for all those other tour dates. But for that date, no set list. I wonder why. Ask yourself. Not the least. Let me show y'all something. Let me make it big. Let me turn it to the side and make it big for y'all. You see what that say? Benji Madden. What that say their last name is? Benji Levi Madden Combs. Combs. Act like y'all know. Not the least of which is, years and years and years ago, I remember seeing a YouTube presentation about all these artists who were biracial. I'm pretty sure I saw them on that thing. Also, what's the girl's name from? I think it's like Halo. I forget her name, but I saw a bunch of people on there. I was like, oh, they're biracial too? Oh, didn't know that. I didn't know they had black in their family. Oh, didn't know. What is the likelihood the people whose names she called out and said, I talked to them, Halsey, thank you, Jen. Whole lot of people. See, I don't forget nothing. I might not remember for the moment, but trust and believe. And one of them is married to Nicole Richie. I remember saying years ago, oh, then their child is going to be half black. Because if Nicole Richie's half black and they are half black, their child is not going to be a quarter black. It's going to be half black because they both have black. You see how the plot thickens? Stop letting NBC and other people who are desperate and don't want to go down with the ship finesse y'all. Also, if anybody, I don't think I've been live since I heard this statement. Me and Puffy were never friends. What? Now y'all gonna make the whole, they've been trying to get unity in the world. They've been trying to get world unity and for everybody to come together in agreement with one thing. Imagine what the one thing had to be. jayZ and Puffy. 35 years of being each other's best friend. Bro, you got a recital for your child, but you flew across the country to be there, on which he said, this my brother. This my best friend, my strategist. This is who I call whenever I get in trouble. We family. That's right. Yes, sir. If y'all, listen, in the nerd herd, I don't tolerate nobody that's a part of the nerd herd allowing mainstream media to finesse you. This is all about money and covering their people's backs and towing the party line. Remember, you know why I'm going so hard for Jane Doe? They did this crap to me 25 years ago. They did this to me. But these 9 bullet fragments in my face and that settlement he gave me says otherwise. Don't believe the hype. Don't go so hard in favor of celebrity against this innocent woman, because guess what? It could happen to you. You think you any match for them? I've been fighting the good fight for 25 years. Do you think you guys are equipped to fight the machine? You know what it feels like to fight a machine, much less autistic and a traumatic brain injury with a seizure disorder and an unsupported father who could possibly have thrown you under the bus? Stop also putting yourself emotionally in a story to tell yourself that the story not true. How she gonna go to the VMAs at 13 by herself and somebody dropped her there? And this, because when you 13 in New York, you are about 20. I done told y'all that before. A 15-year-old in New York is 25 everywhere else. I have told you that before. I don't know why you don't get it through your head. Get it through your head. New York teenagers, listen, out here, my daughter cannot open the front door for her Amazon package. She is a high school senior. She cannot open the front door, my front door, for her Amazon package without coming to my bed and saying, Mommy, my Amazon package is outside. At which me and Lottie walk to the door and go get the package. Me and Lottie. You think I went to ask my mother when I was 17, can I open the door? Listen here. My mother used to give me and my sister her American Express card when we were 11 and let us go shopping and told us we had $200 limit apiece with a handwritten note signed. I would spend $198 because I knew my sister was going to overdo it. And she would spend $450, $600 because she never cared. If I'm lying, I'm flying. 11 with an American Express card, and we would go all over the city, honey. We jumped on the train and would go all over the city. We used to go to Central, we used to go to 42nd Street and take pictures at Christmas time when we was 12 and 13-year-old. You know, Times Square, 42nd Street, that's what we used to call it, the Deuce. Y'all want to go to the movies at the Deuce? The Deuce would be full of teenagers. 10. Y'all seen Paris is Burning? You seen them little kids outside? Them little boys that was outside in Paris is Burning? Cut the shenanigans. Stop acting like you don't know. Oh, you think somebody could drive her all the way there? You don't know where she was coming from. You don't know that she wasn't staying at this friend's house in the city. Yeah, so what? She's from Rochester. Stop falling for semantics. I called my father. He came and got me. You do not know if her father lived in the house with her. Her father could live in the city. When she went to the gas station and called her father, hello, collect call. We used to do something. All of my New York people up here confirm this. Remember when I told y'all we used to go to the library? I used to go to the library every day. Grand Army Plaza, where they have the big jayZ thing. At Grand Army Plaza, I used to go to that library every day. We used to pick up the payphone. We never paid for a phone call. Police call 24681. Patch me through to this number, and operator will connect us. Who from New York know about police call? Baby, police call 24681. We never paid for a phone call. We blew that thing out so bad till somewhere in the 90s. We tried a police call 24684. They said we don't do that anymore. Click. Operator hung up on us. We was like, oh, that thing, we wore that out. We wore it out. Stop falling for the okie doke. Stop immersing your own self into the situation and then saying, by virtue of the fact that you put yourself in it, that can't be true. How? My mother used to go on a business trip. And we would take her car, be all in Coney Island. We had licensed the first. Okay? I'm telling you, we had an adventure. I had to be 15. My sister Nikki was 16. My son's godmother Sandy was 15. It was a bunch of us. We fly. Silk suits fly down. We got all these different matching silk suits, like similar styles. My mother's on a business trip. We take her car. We go to Coney Island. We running around. We chilling. We this and that. Sandy's brother was my first boyfriend. I go hang out with him. Nikki and Sandy, they got the car. They chilling. They all over the place. They going here. They went to check some guys they know. They double parked at the edge of the block. Somebody flew around the corner and hit my mother's car. Bow! Slammed into the door. Do you know we hustled in 2 days and got that car fixed? 15. Okay? 15. We called this dude we know. Yo, you know anybody that do, where's that guy that do body work that you knew in his garage? Oh, you want him? Oh, Trevor. Okay, hold on. Let me link him up. We call the next one. Yo, can I get $200? Yo, you call the next guy, you know, can I get $150? You call the next guy, can I get $300? Trevor, a guy that had a body shop in his garage, fixed my mother's car. It's pristine. When we put the car back, my mother was coming back from her business trip. We was like, we got to take the car back. The guy was like, it's not finished dry yet. We said, we got to take it back. We cannot play. We took the car back and parked the car. You know what my mother told us years later? I know y'all crashed my car. Be like, how? She said, because you fixed the dent that I got. When I came back, my dent was gone. I ain't say nothing. The car was fixed. That's all that matters to me. Another time, my sister and Sandy, so my mother had a lot of houses. Nikki and Sandy had an apartment in one of them. We each had our own apartment as teenagers. I'm telling you something that's, any of my girlfriends that's on here can guarantee this for you. I had my own apartment. Nikki and Sandy had an apartment together. We were teenagers. We was like 15 and 16. Sandy and all of us used to hang out in Nikki and Sandy's apartment at the end of the block. Sandy and Nikki, some guy that they were seeing, and then the guy gave them money and they went shopping, bought all these clothes, and then they didn't want to talk to the guy anymore. She didn't want to talk to the guy anymore. So the guy got mad and came and was like, oh, you going to use for my money and and not talk to me no more, and picked up something and threw it through the front window and broke my mother's window on the first floor. Now, mind you, this house, my mother bought this house from these two older West Indian sisters, these two old ladies. They were Jamaican ladies. They decided to move back home to Jamaica. The windows were the original windows. You couldn't find those. This is in a time where all of my mother's other houses had the replacement windows put in. But this house still had the old-fashioned wood window. We like, oh, Lord, what we gonna do? Anybody from Brooklyn knows Charlie. Matter of fact, not just Brooklyn, New York. There was a man named Charlie. He had the same birthday as my mother, same birthday and year. Charlie was a mechanic. He also was in Vietnam. And he was a dope fiend. They got hooked on dope because of Agent Orange and all that in Vietnam. Charlie's hands, like if you ever saw The Wire, how big their hands were swollen, that's how Charlie's hands was. Charlie could fix anything. Anything. You hear me? Charlie would have his big power extension cord running from in the building all the way out. Everybody, all the hustlers, everybody used to come get their car fixed by Charlie. Everybody. He got high. You could pay a little bit of money and Charlie would give you a whole new carburetor or whatever was the problem with your car for not that much money. We stressed out. They frantic because we don't know where we're going to get a classic wood window from. I made a call or two. Let me get some money. Came and brought me some money. I was walking down the block. Charlie said, "What's wrong? You look like somebody stole your dog." I said, "Somebody broke my mother's window." And he was like, "Oh, that's what I heard." He said, "What your mama got? The wood windows on that house, the classic windows?" Yeah, he said, "The building just removed all of the windows in the back of the building. They in the alleyway." Charlie went down there, got 2 windows so he could make sure he had the right window to fix. Changed out that whole window. And then went and found some paint and painted it back so it could match the color, the burgundy that my mother had. We were 15. Don't tell me about a girl won't take her friend drop her off at the VMAs to see if she could get in. If you think it's not possible, then you never lived in New York. Then you never lived in New York. No, Charlie didn't. Charlie couldn't ride no motorcycle, girl. Charlie's hands were so swollen he couldn't even hold the things of a motorcycle. He was like, and no disrespect to Charlie, we all know him. He was a dope fiend and his hands were swollen, huge, like the people on The Wire. If you never lived in New York and experienced the New York craziness, you cannot judge this young girl's statement. You cannot say she's not telling the truth. You cannot say it's not true. You can't. You can't. I remember when my silly behind, this guy liked me. He was older. He was like, "Come see me in Philly." I was like, "Okay." They had a bus called the Peter Pan bus. You from New York, you know what the Peter Pan bus was. Commuter bus, super cheap. Took you a little while, but you was going to get to Philly. I went to see his behind in Philly. I was a teenager. Stay out. Listen. If you've never lived in New York, you cannot question the integrity of her story. It's not uncommon. And one thing we know for certain, them grown guys, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and still, trust me, they talk to A minors. Don't think they don't. Still do. In fact, YouTube is full of them. They say things like, "Come on now, man. They just trying to take good man down. They just trying to take..." Because if they can't reconcile themselves with that which they did, they cannot judge another person for it. You understand? If they have done the conduct and are still doing the conduct, they cannot judge another man for that conduct that they know they themselves did. You want to know if they're guilty of it? If you have a boyfriend, husband, whatever, he has a baby from a previous relationship, baby mama, 1, 2, 10, whatever. And whatever their child's age is, let's say your husband's older than you. Let's say their child is 30 and the mama's 45. End of discussion. Your husband is a PDF file. Now, if you want to know this and indulge, that's your business. You will have to answer to God. Because you know her son 30 and she 45. And your husband is about 56. What does that say? Stop acting like y'all don't know. Let me say it louder for the people in the back. Act like you know. Please stop acting like y'all don't know. I want y'all to stop playing in my face. We all know what a TI is, and it ain't right. It ain't right. He has a grown man. This man has not responded to Dame Dash, Biggs, D. Haven. They've been calling him out for years. He didn't respond to none of them, but he jumped on that internet and responded to Jane Doe. And when Tony Buzbee, and y'all talk about Tony Buzbee try to extort him, tell me you don't know anything about the law without telling me you don't know anything about the law. You are adults. You have watched Law and Order for 122 years. Law and Order been on. 122 years. You done watched almost every episode of Law and Order. You don't know that a demand letter is Law 101. someone accuses you of something in a civil law, in a civil realm, the first course of action is a demand letter. If you trying to get something back, if you bought something from Saks and you returned it and they didn't give you your refund back on your card, and they're like, oh, we're testing to see if this is worn or if it's authenticating it, and they have the item and your money, your first course of action is a demand letter. I, such and such and such, do hereby lodge a formal demand for the return of my money because I purchased blah, blah, blah item on blah, blah, blah day with card number ending in blah, blah, blah to go to an event. When the item came in the mail, I tried it on. It did not fit. I opted to wear something else. The tags are still attached, at which time the following day, I repackaged it in the original contents it came in, took the liberty of videotaping and photocopying videotaping and filming the dress and me packaging it, which I have attached as exhibit 1 through 4. And I forwarded back to you. I have the return receipt from the post office showing that I returned the item and I've yet to receive my refund. The item was returned on blah, blah, blah date. You have 7 days from the date of this letter to give me my refund in the form of payment, which I originally issued it. Credit my card. Hello, we adults. Y'all don't do that? Y'all don't put demand letters for your stuff? Come on. What am I saying that's so strange? You guys know what this is. You're adults. If somebody accuses you, there are 2 courses of action that anyone has when they commit an act against you. You have 2 courses of action. If someone harms you or destroys your property, you have a right to go and make a complaint, call the police, file a complaint. The complaint will be sent to the person will either be arrested on the spot or the complaint will be sent up to the detective squad who will investigate. Once they investigate and find probable cause and yes, this person did this to you, they will escalate it to the district attorney's office who will file charges or indict the person. And then they will take a criminal action against that person. The document will say New York State against Pookie and Man Man. Pookie and Man Man, y'all back again. You know I love y'all. Pookie and Man Man. The other course of legal action is someone does something to you, harms you, hurts you, your family member, harms your property, whatever, and you take civil recourse because the law says you have a right to be made whole. Don't come in my face. Don't go in her face. Don't go in her face. Talk to your local senator or your local politician of some other ilk, city council, your local state senate, whoever. Talk to them. Your assemblyman, your alderman, talk to them if you don't like the law. It existed prior to me. The civil remedy and recourse says you have a right to pursue civil recourse to be made whole. And the only thing that exists in the legal realm to be made whole with civil recourse is money. Stop being whole 55-year-old dummies up there talking, oh, if it's like that, why you want money? Why you don't just go file a charge on him and get him arrested? Shut up. And forgive me because my mother didn't even allow us to say shut up. But I need y'all to shut up. I really do. I'm tired of it. All of these YouTube channels. Oh, if that's the case, why are you trying to get money? Why you just don't go to the hello? Act like you know. The same reason where if your job told you to come in and then they said, you know what? We seem to be having technical difficulties and we can't pay you, but you guys keep coming to work. You know we value you. You know we value you. We're a team. We're a family. Come on to work. We'll get to you when we get to you. How long are you going to go? You want to be made whole, right? Because the contract that you made when you took the job was exchange of labor for and services for money. So why you want everybody else to leave money on the table? This is the way the world made it. And this is the way the world made it in the United States of America. If you have a problem with it, start a change.org petition and get it changed. Until then, Shut your bumbleclat up and let people get them made whole. Let them get their recourse. How dare you determine what someone's recourse is? How cheap do you think it is if someone essays you, takes away your feeling of safety, takes away the homeostasis in your mind, body, soul, spirit, flesh? You are now severely depressed. You can't face society. You feel less than. You feel dirty. You need therapy. Who pays for that? You think therapy is cheap? I know it ain't cheap, and y'all know it ain't cheap because I know a lot of y'all out there that need therapy all up and down these YouTube streets, and y'all ain't getting it. And y'all got jobs with insurance. Go get some therapy. They got online therapy. Avail yourself of it. You got an FSA and HSA at your job, right? Use it. Get some therapy. Out here bleeding all over people that didn't cut you. Acting like you don't know. You've been watching Law and Order for 142 years. And you still don't know the law? The two levels of the law, criminal and civil. Criminal is you get indicted by the state or the city or the federal government. That is how the designation is. Hi, Grandma Baby. How you doing? I'm live already.
Oh.
You want to say something? You don't have to come on. You want to say something? Say hi, guys. That's my Grandma Baby. Exactly. You needed something? You want Grandma, or you just came up here to kick it with me?
I like it like this.
You like how I turned it around?
I just came upstairs and I was gonna hang out in my room and I heard creaking or something.
Go to Auntie then. Go hang out at Auntie. You want to go in your room?
Not creaking in my room. I was in the hallway and I kind of heard
You sure it wasn't Uncle Donnie in the room?
I don't know.
Go ahead and go to Auntie if you want. You can hang out with me or you can go with Auntie. It's up to you.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay. So, sorry guys. Yep. Shout out to Grandma Baby. Everybody says shout out to Grandma Baby. So, we do look alike, don't we? She's the love of my life, I tell you. But what was I saying? I digress. Somebody remind me where I was. She's Grandma's chocolate drop. I love her so much. She could pass for my daughter. She is little me. My son gave birth to me. I promise you. He absolutely gave birth to, and she's brilliant. She is absolutely brilliant. But I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Somebody help me. What was I saying? Civil and criminal. Thank you so much, Down South Stitcher. And so the two courses of action you have is criminal, which is indicted by the government, city, state, or federal. And civil, which you get an attorney and they will file a legal action in the court, and it will be adjudicated by a judge, or it will get to settlement prior to that phase. The phases of civil action are: you make a demand letter, you state what the issue is, and you serve it on that person and their attorney. Or you serve it on that person and they get an attorney. The attorneys will call all parties involved in and have a negotiation period. They will have a sit down, a mediation. Here are the issues. This is what we have going on. And here's the options we want to pursue. What are you prepared to do? And that's how it goes. If you can't come to an agreement, it goes before a judge and a judge makes the decision. Y'all, please stop acting like you never heard of the law. Coming with these rudimentary, basic, baby versions of, if it was like that, he just want a money grab. She just want a money grab. Hello, that is what civil law says. We will give you money, a monetary settlement, to make you whole. That's what the law says. If you got a problem, get on your computer, get off of OnlyFans and all those things y'all waste your time on. Go on change.org, start a petition. Put it on your community page and your YouTube page. And just like you get 40,000 views for your clickbait, that ain't never a real video, get that on there. Get that on your community guideline, on your community page for that. Stop acting like babies, like you don't understand the law. And those of you who don't understand the law, there's this thing called YouTube. You can look up anything.
I watch it.
You heard my granddaughter said, I watch it. She was reading you guys' comments today when we were driving back home. She did a recital today. We were coming back home. She was reading all of the comments. It was hilarious back there. Shout out to Awaken. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Welcome to the family, Awaken. We are so pleased to have you here. Oh, 2025 is the year of truth, honey. And I am collecting and gathering people all year long. When I call you to the front of the line, come up to the front of the line. Those are the two legal courses of action. Also, Jane, how did NBC access Jane Doe? How? Where did they get her information from? She's a Jane Doe. So you mean to tell me NBC violated the sanctity of someone's privacy, especially when you were victimized as a child? You have the right to be unknown, a Jane Doe in the case. Why would they violate her right to privacy? Under what obligation does she have to talk to them? Under what? And if you truly care about the victim or even a prospective or potential victim, and you know they have issues, why not have an emotional support person there? Why not be the vanguard of doing what's right? We have an emotional support person in the studio to provide emotional support in the event that this young lady endures some sort of level of stress or whatever. We understand people who have these issues and have cognitive delays sometimes fall under stress. This woman has a seizure disorder. I developed a seizure disorder after being pow-powed. My seizure disorder is neurotransmitted. You know what neurotransmitted means? Affected by stress. How do they know her seizure disorder is not neurotransmitted? They said she had a head injury and developed a seizure disorder. I guarantee you it's neurotransmitted. What did they do to care and offer care for the victim? What? Nothing. All they cared about was repping for their homeboys. You shouldn't trust them. The fact that they said they did this and violated the sanctity of someone who is a child and has cognitive delays still to this day, you shouldn't trust them. Number two, the fact that Spiro said jayZ and Puffy wasn't friends, if you trust anything else out of their mouth, you is a whole fool. The internet is undefeated. Have you seen this photo spread? Have you seen it? Undefeated. Why would you trust somebody who would say such a flagrantly stupid thing? It tells me one of two things. They desperate. And two, Spiro doesn't know his client like he thinks he does. Because why? And three, he's a colonizer that doesn't respect the culture and thinks that he can play in our face with stupidity. Because why would you utter such a stupid statement? Why? Not the least of which is when a client has cognitive delays, autism, some form of mental retardation, some form of spectrum disorder, some form of mental disorder or delay connected to seizure disorders where people would be able to forget things and have some difficulty in remembering facts, and also mental illness that has been previously diagnosed and there are documented proof of, there is a special 2 to 4 year window. As long as they're within the 2 to 4 year window of the date or any details that they may have made a mistake, the law protects them for that. You think Buzby don't know that? He set y'all up and y'all fell hook, line, and sinker. Hook, line, and sinker. Guess what? She may have been confused because of her mental and cognitive delays about 2000 or 2003. Guess who was at the awards in 2003? Benji Madden and his twin. And there still is no proof that they didn't fly back for the after party in 2000. No proof. None. You cannot get over the name Combs. The likelihood that that's some statistical anomaly, slim to none. Very well could be, but in my opinion, shady. And then no one said, she said from the get-go, I did not have a ticket. I could not get into the VMAs. I started talking to the limo drivers and to see if I could get into if anybody had a pass for me to get in. And then one of the limo drivers said, I am Puffy's limo driver. You're just what he's looking for. I don't have a ticket to get you in, but I can get you into the after party. Now, why are you telling me that Benji Madden didn't attend the VMAs? Neither did she. She never made any allegations against them at the VMAs. What she said was she was talking to them at the after party. There is no set list for the night of that VMA for them. I can give, matter of fact, let me pull it up. That no set list speaks volumes. There's no ticket stubs. How come nobody stepped forward and said, I have a ticket stub for Benji Madden's show, for Good Charlotte's concert that night? Why? Why? And thank you. Thank you so much, Muff Muff. Let me put that up on stage. Having those issues does not make you incapable of telling the truth, nor does it negate that something happened to you. I don't care how many facts you get wrong. It doesn't negate that something happened to you. And perhaps when the limo driver said, you're just what they're looking for, is because he could tell that there was some type of cognitive delay. Touche. And they wanted somebody that they could victimize. Hence, have a drink. And then you woozy after the drink, because that's a cognitive delay or defect as well. When your mind is altered by whatever they gave you to drink, that's also a cognitive delay. I want to show y'all. Why does this thing keep bringing up this? You see what this says? Look. Let me find, because there's always some part where you can't see. Why is it? Anyone have a ticket stub from Eve 6 Good Charlotte concert at the Vic on September 7th, 2000? You see that statement? Somebody said, I just posted in the NBC News video of the accuser of jayZ about how GC Madden were in Chicago on 9/7/2000. I believe the show started around 8. Also, it's possible she has 2000 and 2003 mixed up. Somebody said, I can't find a single pic of that event. There are, however, several pics from concerts before and after September 2000. Maybe it got canceled or postponed or something, but I think that girl will remember meeting Good Charlotte, and I kind of believe her, to be honest. Now ask yourself, if this is in Reddit and on all the rocker, there's a whole bunch of rocker concert tour things where you can click for any concert that happened. I mean, this thing goes so far back. I clicked on every one of those things. I clicked on the shows before where there was tons, 40, 50 people that commented. I clicked on the ones after. Click on that one. No set list, no comment, no nothing. Nothing. Because it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Every show that runs has a set list. There is no show. If you know anything about the music business, there is no show without a set list. How can you run the show if you don't have a set list? Absolutely. Listen, I worked in the field. Listen, on the spectrum, that's why it's called a spectrum, because it runs from one end to the other. You want to know what at the top of the spectrum is? Low functioning, highly low functioning. You know what's at the other end of the spectrum? Savant. You know what savant means? Genius. Okay? That's where you get the Rain Mans and all that. What do you say, honey?
I have a friend in second grade named Savant.
You do?
Yes.
That means genius. And what does grandma always call you? I always say, who's grandma's little? Genius and chocolate drop. So ask yourself, why no set list from that show? Because I did the research. And this is before anybody else commented. These additional comments weren't even there when I looked. Stop believing the hype. Be willing to do some research. This was what I said on another live. Smartphones make us lazy. All these smart technology, it makes us lazy because people don't do work anymore. You just believe what anybody tells you. You just believe what anybody tells you. And Kraken Studio says she also likely disassociated during the assault, and with PTSI, triggering disassociating is unavoidable. I get robotic inside and show normal on the outside without knowing until I reconnect. And oftentimes, you know what it's called? Because people are so, we all heard the rumblings of Jay with Aaliyah, Foxy Brown, Rihanna, and Beyonce, all underage rumbling. Stood by R. Kelly and went on tour with him to prove, he did 2 tours with him. 2. Rain Man was brilliant. College kids to come to let him do their math homework. That's right. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people take for granted. That just because you have some sort of cognitive delay, defect, whatever you want to call it, that you are not competent in memories or able to tell a story of what occurred or anything. It's not fair and it's not okay. Mental disorder, delay, defect, disease, or any type of mental cognitive impairment does not mean you are not a whole functioning person. It just means you're otherwise able. It's not disabled, it's otherwise able. And it doesn't mean they can't speak facts and tell stories and tell narratives of what happened to them. I need people to stop having this notion that by virtue of the fact that you suffer from something, you don't know anything. It's nonsense and it's dismissive. It's dismissive. And then people watching my commentary and not giving me credit. Listen, you see, I always say on here, cite your sources. When somebody comes in here and says, oh, blah, 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 I say, cite your sources. Where'd that come from? And don't tell me a page that has no picture or no face, because they're not credible to me. If you're not willing to show your face in these YouTube streets, move on. Shout out to Locked. She said, I have a TBI, seizures, mental illness, and I can tell the truth. Absolutely. And she keep me in check. Keep me in all kinds of check. Okay. And I have a TBI and seizures. I have a traumatic brain injury and seizures because of the pow-pow. I'm functional and cognitively intact. Am I not? Am I not cognitively intact? Because I have a traumatic brain injury. I also have a seizure disorder. I also have PTSD, and I'm just fine.
What's PTSD?
Post-traumatic stress disorder. So before you go discounting someone because they suffer from something, think about those things. Think about those things. That is why God kept me whole, visually and aesthetically. I have invisible scars, internal scars, because he didn't want anybody distracted by a disfigurement. And he knew I had a lot to say. And he had a lot that he wanted me to say on behalf of those who have the incapacity to say what they need to say. See, I don't have no problem. Nobody can't challenge my integrity. Nobody can't challenge my ability to recount anything. Baby, I remember that like a play that runs over in my mind, a movie every day, 12 o'clock matinee, same thing. That's why I'm here. That's why I speak. That's why I come out here and I do this, because I'm not going to allow anyone to disavow a victim just by virtue of the fact that they have issues that need tissues. We all got them. Who among us is above reproach? Those of you who live in glass mansions, watch your back. There's people out here with slingshots and a pocket full of rocks. Watch your back in those glass mansions as you stand out and wax poetically how this one, that one, and that one is not good enough and don't believe them and they're a liar. You know how many, you don't, listen, what I always tell people, you don't know your mama's story, okay? You don't know your mama's story. How many times was she called a liar for something that she was telling the absolute truth for? Go ask her, go sit down. All you, especially the men that sit around and be like, oh, she a liar, oh, she this, go ask your mother, has she ever been accused of lying about something she came forth and told? women included, go sit down, have a discussion. If your mom is available or your grandmother, your auntie, go sit down and ask them, have you ever endured being violated? Did you ever attempt to speak up? Did anyone ever call you a liar? No. Anybody ever call you a liar? No. What would you lie about? You're too honest. You don't please. My granddaughter's so honest, child. She's so honest. When I tell you, she tell it all.
Well, you told me to go ask my mother.
Oh, well, not you guys. Them. I was telling the internet. Michelle says, you know I love me some vocabulary. My daughter has dyscalculia, and dysgraphia. Tell me how I did, Michelle. And also tell me what they are. Thank you, Marcia Guy. She said you're cognitive and articulate, period. Thank you.
How long are you going to be live for?
Grandma's at work. This is my job. You hear my granddaughter, how long are you going to be live for? This is Grandma's job. What, do you want to do something? What you need, Grandma? You want me?
I was just asking.
Oh, you're just asking. You just hanging out with your grandma?
I like being here rather than being downstairs alone.
Absolutely. You don't have to. Thank you, Michelle. She said you're a true chosen one. I appreciate that. Asheo. God is good all the time, real as it gets, and Marcia. Muff Muff said, my 19-year-old son has autism spectrum disorder with ADHD and a speech delay, but he will tell the truth. And I know when he is not incapable of making me aware of something. Absolutely. Here's the unique thing about people on the spectrum that people need to know. And this is what has them quaking in their boots. Anyone who is associated with anyone on the spectrum will tell you. Spectrum people, because of by virtue of the fact of how your brain is wired, they don't lie. They are so blunt. They will tell you the truth about everything. The way their brain is wired, they don't typically lie. You'd be hard pressed to tell me somebody on a spectrum that's just lying. That part of their brain doesn't exist. Why do you think they're so shook and want this case out of here? Because you can bring in specialists, psychologists, neurophysicists, neurologists, and they will tell you people with spectrum disorders don't lie. They're blunt. They just speak the truth. Have you ever been exposed to someone with autism? They'll say something like, oh, I like your shirt, with a very flat affect. I like your shirt, but your makeup is a disaster. But your shirt looks nice. And they don't mean no harm. They don't know how to lie. That is why they are shooketh. Okay? People that know. How many people are exposed? Hey, Kate Ashley, how are you? Thank you. She said, hi, Natanya, new subscriber. Love your channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate you so much. Sharon Dorsey said, carrots. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, all you guys. Beverly said, amen. Amen indeed. Asheo.
What if I started a YouTube channel called That Young Dopest Nerd?
You heard what my granddaughter just said? My granddaughter just said, what if I start a YouTube channel called That Young Dopest Nerd? Hilarious. And I can teach dancing. Yes, you are that young dopest nerd.
When I did my dance recital, I was wearing a red, like sparkly
sequins.
Suit, and before we did that, I got my nails done and I got them done red.
Oh my goodness.
It's called Candy Cane Red.
Adorable.
Yeah.
You guys hear my grandbaby back there talking? Expressions of mishonesty. One of my dope mods says, I also have a seizure disorder, CPTSD, anxiety, TBI from an assault and being run over, autoimmunes. 2 years ago, I couldn't communicate, hundreds of seizures a day. I found my nerd sisters. Asheo, and to God be the glory that you are able and healed and able to be a part of this nerd herd family and do what you do. And we honor and we worship you. We honor you. We honor you. You didn't have to be a part of this, but God saw fit to make you able-bodied and able to be a part of this, and we value you completely and 100%. And thank you for laying yourself bare and sharing with everyone. You are healing others. There is someone out there who's not in the chat because they feel like maybe they don't think they're qualified or have something to contribute. Everyone has value. Everyone. Thank you so much for that, Charlotte. Kraken Studios, the real booty said, question, because you've been a victim in the courts, do you agree we the people need to rise up for all the hard facts to be presented to a jury? In my opinion, the full truth gets removed, yet we deliberate omits. Now, here's the deal. Absolutely. All the more reason why Tony Busby is not playing the games with them. They're not going to dismiss this case. The case will go before a judge. That's the process. Once it's filed in the courts, that's it. They don't get to come up and do charlatan moves and sleight of hand and all this foolishness and get it thrown out. It's not like that. But they would like to make you believe that that's the case. They would like to use a bunch of semantics and hiring people to come against Tony Busby and all this stuff. Those are the mutterings and the actions of a guilty man, a desperate guilty man. I'm telling you. If you ever dealt with anybody before that's tried to throw you under the bus, you know what it looks like. You know what it looks like when they're trying to. I have to laugh. Catgirl 1220 or Catgirl 226 said, "LOL, yes, Law and Order has been on for 142 years and they still have new episodes." Absolutely. The dopest grandma. Oh, thank you, Persephone. I appreciate that so much. I am the dopest grandma. That's my baby. K-Lig said, focusing on the dates is a convenient rabbit hole that has nothing to do with what happened to her. Thank you so much, Asheo. Thank you so much. And people want to play semantics. I'm telling you, there's a lot of YouTube content creators, and here's what bothers me the most. When women speak against other women and say things like, oh, she lying, she just want money. Why would you disavow? Do you know how many women have endured lots of things and nobody believed them? You know how hideous that is, how immobilizing that is to someone's spirit? Diane Rose 121 said, Natanya, I grew up on Long Island and I agree there are many feasible scenarios that make Jane Doe's version of events possible. Kids were bold and what? Yes, we were. And parents were checked out enough. Listen, let me tell you the number one thing that makes Jane Doe's account 100%. I don't know if y'all remember. It started in the 70s. And it used to come on Channel 5, which was, what was Channel 5's call letters? I think it was, I know WABC was 7 in New York. WNBC was 4. CBS was 2. WPIX was Channel 11 or Channel 9. Or they made it UPN, You People's Network. I don't know if y'all remember that. And I think the Channel 5 station was the Fox station. I can't remember the call letters for the Fox station, but Channel 5 used to have something that came on every night. It's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? If y'all remember that, please, excuse me, put a 5 in the chat. If you remember, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Why do you think they made that statement? Because them kids was everywhere. Okay? If somebody had to remind you that it was 10 o'clock and ask you a parent, do you know how ludicrous that statement would be right now? In 2024? It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? That statement alone says it all. It says it all. Real as it gets says, I think the year was not exposed because she was supposed to. I think the year was not exposed because she was supposed to be a Jane Doe. So jayZ would not know the person. Hey, but you see how people tell on themselves? They tell on themselves because they infuse things. That's why I always say when you're questioning someone, don't lead them. Just let them say on their own. When you lead them, you're trying to change the narrative. Thank you so much for saying that, Real as it gets. Archangel Michael, George Akbar, how you doing? It is terrible. It is a terrible curse. We must stop. Boys suffer this as well. Absolutely. But I am truly saddened by the amount of girls who suffer abuse. Absolutely. And we are not disavowing or minimizing what the boys endure, because it is equally bad across the board. You're 100% right. And thank you for taking the time to say that. Kids was always outside. Remember, the DJ mixes it. Kids was always outside. Remember, what did our parents say? Let's see. Show me your age. Be home before the street light came on. You know why? Because we was gone. We were gone. First of all, you couldn't leave the house before 12 noon. But baby, when 12 noon hit, I can tell you stories about all the stuff we used to do. We used to go to Prospect Park, which was far from my house. We would walk miles and miles. We grew up in a house. I grew up in Crown Heights. We grew up a very comfortable upper middle class life.
When I went to New York,
they had something called the Projects Day. We weren't allowed to go to the projects. My mother didn't even know we had friends that lived in the project, and she wouldn't have tolerated it. Baby, we used to be up in every project. Brevoort Day, this day, LaGuardia Houses Day. We was in all kinds of projects all over the city. We would get on the train and go to other boroughs. It was nothing for us. Okay? Young. We would go to Bed-Stuy. You know what the nickname for Bed-Stuy was? Bed-Stuy do or die. Do or die. Got outside. What y'all want to do? Let's go to Bed-Stuy. Come on. And would walk, ride bikes, everything. Trains too. We would ride the trains to other boroughs. We would ride the train. We used to go see guys in Harlem, because the Harlem guys like the Brooklyn girls, the bougie Brooklyn girls. And it was all over North America. Exactly. But definitely, I remember that vividly in the 70s. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are? Stop acting like this is so bizarre that this young girl went to the VMAs. It's not bizarre at all. I told you we used to take my mother's car and drive to Coney Island, here, there, everywhere. We used to go all over the place. All over the place. And then put the car back. I know a guy that lived next door to me. His name was Lenny, one of our best friends in the block. Lenny got thrown out by his stepdad because we used to steal our parents' car at night. He used to steal his father's car. That was his stepdad. Drive all over, go check his friends, go check this one, and then put it back. He would move, you know, those big dumpsters? He would move the dumpster from down the block and bring it and put it in his father's parking spot. And then go wherever and then come move the dumpster and put it back. But one day, this was in the 80s, we were teenagers, this hustler used to come see this girl on our block. He got out his car and moved the dumpster. We was like, oh my God. When Lenny got back and that dumpster was in his spot, we tried to beg him, please don't move that dumpster, please. He didn't care. He moved the dumpster and went to see his chick. When Lenny got back and he couldn't park it, and his father knew where he parked his car, that was the day it all busted. He had been doing it for so long, but it busted up that day. Promise you, him and his father got into a big thing. Lenny ended up leaving. I think I saw Lenny like maybe 4 times after that. I'm telling you what I know.
I have an alphabet.
Thank you, Sharon.
In my class.
You have a what?
Named Lenny.
There's a kid in your class named Lenny?
No, I have an elf in my class.
Oh, the elf on the shelf? You guys have that?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
In my class.
And his name is Lenny?
Yes.
That's too funny.
He hasn't got into any mischief yet, but Miss Jones's elf has pooped on.
Are you serious?
The child's desk, but he pooped out candy, so they got to eat it.
Oh, that's so cute. Sharon Dorsey said, and her dad not remembering doesn't mean nothing. By him not being that dad that didn't question why she was out at that time, plus his age, and he probably wasn't that dad. Indeed. But you know the nerd in me, you see this, by him not being, no double negatives. Jokes. I'm a nerd. You know I'm always going to correct grammar. Predator Hunters, Indiana, this is a beautiful statement. My prayers to all the victims past and present. Thank you so much for even taking time to even say that. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And that is so important in all things. We cannot forget There you go, latchkey kid. Thank you, Kraken. We were latchkey kids. You know the rules. You wore your key on the string around your neck, but you had to tuck it in. Don't let nobody see your key, first of all. Then get in the house. Don't let nobody in my house. Don't open my door. If the phone rings, don't open the phone. Don't answer the phone. If it's your mother calling, she's going to call, let the phone ring twice, hang it up, and then call back, and you pick it up by the third ring. We had rules back then. We had ways that we operated. And it was nothing for kids to get outside on the weekend and not come home until the street light. Listen, by virtue of the fact that say get home by the time the street light means they know we were going off yonder, far away. Far away. When your mandate was get home before the street light comes on, they didn't see us for hours. Hours. Why is it so strange? Like people sitting here like, oh, come on, that story doesn't sound right. Come on. Thank you. Thank you. Look, this is the truth, Shannon. I would be on the front porch after the lights came on, pressed to be outside. My porch was like the Kool-Aid porch. Only thing is my mother didn't let us drink no Kool-Aid. Everybody was on my porch. And there was another porch on my block called, we used to call it the doctor's porch, because the people that lived in the house was Dr. Solomon and his wife. And they had a massive front porch, and they were white. The only white, we had one other white family on the block, but Dr. Solomon was the doctor of the community, and everybody hung out on the doctor's porch, and they loved it because they had all these kids out front and nobody would mess with them, and everybody knew the doctors, and it just worked for everybody. We were all out on the doctor's porch. Your mother would come outside looking for you. I'd be like, we're on the doctor's porch. Okay. And that's after the street light came on. So these people with this notion, shout out to Kraken for becoming a new studio. Kraken Studio, the real booty, becoming a new member. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family, hun. We have to disavow all of these things that are being put into the discourse to make you consider this woman a liar. If nothing else, at least she deserves her day in court. Want to sit next to grandma, baby? You like that?
At first I thought you made it, but then I saw it said this.
Yeah.
So never mind.
She deserves her day in court and to have her case adjudicated in a court of law. Grandma, baby. Vanessa Huxtable and her friends snuck out and drove from Brooklyn to Baltimore. That's right. I remember that. Yes, indeed. And we pray for Little Rod, too. Shout out to Little Rod. Cute, naughty elf. Somebody heard the story about your elf, Lenny. Like Locke said, make sure that you subscribe, share. If you haven't already, let's let people know we're here to help Natanya's story reach everybody's ears so that she can get her justice. Shout out to the dopest mom. We love her so much. Always on top of everything. Like I said, wait till you guys see the new. Don't do that on the thing. The new mod. I'm sorry. Wait till you guys see all of the what you call it.
Read
new
this
merch.
one. Read this one.
Read this one.
Yeah.
Oh, look, she's telling me what. Oh, how old is your grandchild, Natanya? She's 8. She's 8 years old. Yes, 10 and 11-year-olds used to be riding the trains. Indeed. Listen, you heard what I said. My mother used to give us her American Express card, and we each had a $200 limit when I was 11 and my sister was 12. This was run-of-the-mill normal for us. Trust me. Run-of-the-mill normal. So anybody that tells you otherwise is lying.
When you say sister, do you mean Auntie Danny?
No, Auntie Nikki. Auntie Danny was way small, younger than us. Thank you. Look, now this is the truth. We babysat at 8 and ran the house by 11. We grew up quick. We absolutely did. We absolutely did. It was a time where we had no alternatives. This is what life was. This is what it yielded. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. Absolutely. We were real hustlers back then. Oh, Carrie Ann Young, thank you so much. That's my buddy. She's my best friend in the whole wide world. Her and Trusty Dusty, show producer. Absolutely. And this is very vital. Thank you, Dana, for pointing this out. People forget that it takes a lot of courage for a victim to come forward and let alone do an interview and let alone come forward, report the crime and do an interview against the machine. This is a mighty, mighty machine that have publicists, money. Listen, there are police officers that do the bidding of these celebrities. I'm telling you firsthand. I've had encounters with some of them and been harassed by them. There are police officers on their payroll. I'm telling you what I know for certain. What I know for certain, what I've experienced for certain. Okay? You believe otherwise if you want to. I'm telling you what I know. I've battled this machine. I am actually qualified to speak on it. See, a lot of people on YouTube, and I'm not discounting any other content creator's ability to tell a story. What I'm telling you is I have firsthand knowledge of this thing right here. Everybody's going to give their diatribe and say what they want. I have firsthand knowledge of this thing right here. Remember, jayZ's in it now, but this is still the Diddy trial. I have firsthand knowledge with this machine right here, and I know what it looked like, and I know how it operates. Everything else is conjecture, speculation, and innuendo. Everything else. I've tasted of this machine right here. I know what it does, how it operates, how vicious it is. I know that it will try to undermine every single iota. I know that I've sat in a deposition with this machine right here, talking about how they pow-powed me in the face. And they want to throw you off by asking you stuff like, how many sexual partners have you had? Have you ever had an abortion? What does that have to do with you pow-powing? This is what they do. This is what they do. I had a seizure during a deposition because they kept asking me crazy things, being so mean, being so rough. It made me start a company. If one of my girlfriends is on here, she could tell you, the one who gave me the name The Dopest Nerd, Sam. I started a company called Dep Prep to prepare people for their depositions. Have you guys had the liberty of seeing this hideous deposition that Kanye just had? Oh, Lord. Let me tell you guys something. I started a company called Dep Prep just based on all that I've learned over the past 25 years dealing with this machine. What people don't understand is your deposition. They think it's an informal discussion in a conference room, or now since post-pandemic online via Zoom. Let me tell you something. It is not some informal meeting or fact gathering information. It is court. It is the first stage of court. When you are in that deposition, you are in court. I don't care if you're sitting in your house doing it over a video screen. You are in court. They memorialize your answers there so that they can stick you on the stand. All of that putting on cases are lost at deposition. I'm telling you what I know. Lost or won at deposition. Putting on a Pooh Shiesty mask with holes in it and saying, you can't see my face, and all those crazy mutterings. My. Have you guys had the liberty of seeing this deposition? Did y'all see the deposition with Kanye? My. Oh, my. K-Lig said, Natanya, I just received a membership by way of at Jules Awake gift membership. So excited and thankful. Shout out to PS 181, IS 246, and the Brooklyn Library and Botanical Gardens. We were wild and free. 77. Asheo! Congratulations. Thank you so much at Jules Awake. Welcome to the family, K-Leg. What happened, cuz? Let me hold $1. That's how you know you're in the family. As soon as somebody said, let me hold $1. Yeah, I have quite a few videos. I have, and I've done countless interviews. If you look into look in my different
Definitely not.
my mind, every now and then
Here, no,
I get that senior brain. In my playlist, you'll see where it says my interviews all over the internet. And just go on my page, scroll to binge my page. You will hear my story, and it is the same every single time. Feel free to binge my page. Yes, I have lots of interviews telling my story.
The diary of it's the diary of something that you can see.
Yeah, listen, it is really. You said, I do hope Buzbee let his intentions be known by the victim before the interview. Here's the deal. I don't necessarily know that Buzbee was aware that the victim was going to do an interview, because that is how nefarious media people are. They will contact your because remember, I don't think they got her name from Buzbee. I'm almost certain that they got her name from the other side.
Grandma?
Almost certain. Yes, my dear.
Can I open this for you?
Your parents gave me that. What you gonna do? Unboxing? Is that what they call it when you open it? Please don't rip the envelope. Do you know how to open? Let me
open it on your.
I'll open it for you, and then you go ahead and examine it.
Okay. Examine.
Yeah. Don't sit on Grandma's glasses.
Yeah, I'm gonna move the glasses out the way.
I don't know if your mom and dad want you on my channel. So, hey, Grandma, baby, give me a kiss. You look beautiful. Love you. Oh my! They certainly sealed this super tight, didn't they? What is this on it? Did I get makeup on it? My goodness. Did they want anybody to open this or what? What's going on here? Who did this? Mommy and Daddy? They sealed them? Mommy sealed it?
Yeah, I think so.
Mommy must have used some kind of super glue. My, I can't even get this thing open. Okay, here we go. Tell me what it says. Don't rip the envelope. I want to keep it intact.
Okay.
Oh my, that is so beautiful. It's
not really intact anymore.
I mean, relatively. Can you get it out? Let me help you.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my, that's beautiful.
Okay.
That is so beautiful.
I do not want to ruin that.
You know what that's called? What? Let's see. It may be able to slide out.
What's it called?
This is a seal.
Oh, I remember on like this.
Does it slide out, or we have to pop the seal? Fancy, I'd say.
Well, she did it with minted.
This is very fancy.
She did it with minted, so maybe minted did it. Oh.
Read that. Well, don't say all of this information, but just read that.
Only this.
Read that at the top.
The pleasure of your company requested at the wedding of.
Don't read the rest. That's so magnifico. Oh, look. You know what that's called? What is that?
RSVP.
Yes.
I know.
Don't say the details. This is so beautiful. They're so fancy. Mommy and Daddy are so fancy. I love them. Go put that back in the envelope and put it back on Grandma's.
Hopefully they don't know.
I'm sorry, guys. Oh, somebody said my cat Boo Boo sends purrs and kisses to your granddaughter. Oh, isn't that so cute?
I have a dog.
She has a dog. I have told you guys I have a grand dog.
Name's Hater.
That's what I'm saying. Your story has been going on for so long, never changed, and y'all had to endure the backlash. Yes, it is. If it was not true, why would you keep? That's right. This going on for this long. See the truth in front. Listen, let me tell you something. There is a level of resolve that exists in my spirit, because I'm telling you, the same abuse that Jane Doe is undergoing, I underwent it too. They said I was a liar. And we all know these 9 bullet fragments, I'm not a liar. My granddaughter, I remember the first time my granddaughter found out what happened to me. She was like, somebody shot you, Grandma? Imagine how hurtful that was to have to explain this to my granddaughter that has experienced her grandma baby and has had this truly loving and protective relationship with her grandmother, to find out that not only was her grandmother pow-powed, but pow-powed by somebody, one of the most famous people at the time. She was just like, why did he do that to you? She could not fathom or understand why someone would do this to me. And I had to tell her, like, I was an innocent bystander. She's like, but why would they do such a thing? Where did it happen? What did you do to him? Yeah, you hear what she said again? What did you do to him? Nothing. I just went to a party, and some guys who have poor emotional regulation
if you could
pulled
go
out a
back
gun.
in time to like when you were that age, and if your friends asked you to go to that party, I should be like, no thanks.
You heard what my granddaughter just said? If you could go back in time to when you were that age and your friends asked you to go to the party, you would just say, no thanks. That's what she just said. You know what, Diane? I don't say wrong place, wrong time. And here's why. Especially as you grow in your spiritual walk, as I have. We have an on-time God that says he knows all the hairs of our head are numbered. He knows every iota of us. And if we believe that God is omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent, and he knows all things at all times, and that we have a destiny, I don't call it wrong place at the wrong time. I was exactly where I was supposed to be at the time I was supposed to be there for a time such as this today. Because listen, how many people could have bared this walk that I bore for 25 years? How many people? And faced all that I faced. How many people? Too much, whom much is given, much is required. Okay? God doesn't call the qualified. God will qualify the called. He qualified me to make this walk for 25 years, stand on mustard seed faith, and have a resolve that is unshakable. It is not for the weak at heart. It came at great sacrifice. I'm telling you. You got people that are livid that I continued. And I'm talking people close to me. She said, your grandbaby wants to be heard like a baby bird. These are people that are close to me. You understand? These are people that are in my inner circle. How many people could say that they would have continued this fight for 25 years? It's not for the faint at heart. It's not for the faint at heart. And I will absolutely, and I've stood on this forever. Whenever people say wrong place at the wrong time, I say absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am exactly where God needed me to be, to undergo, because here's the deal. In order for you to grow in your spiritual walk and to be made elevated and among God's elect for a job that you are specifically called to do, in order for you to ascend and to be whole and to go forth and heal others, you have to be broken all the way down. You have to be broken down to almost nothing. Remember what I said? I felt my body separating. And the cold air of the front door, when everybody rushed out, the cold air rushed in, came to me and passed through me. I felt my physical body disintegrating. Like on Star Trek when they say, beam me up, Scotty, and they pixelate and come apart. That's how I felt. In order for God to take you where you need to go and to do the work he called you to do, you have to be completely broken down. And in that breakdown, you will start, if you have what it takes, you will start the renewal process of yourself. And you have to be fire burned to become. Remember, how many pounds of pressure does it take to make a diamond? My business is called Diamond in the Rough. It takes a lot of pressure to make a diamond. This ain't easy. Any less pressure, you got a cubic zirconia. Any less pressure, you got rhinestones. Not rhinestones, rhinestones. Y'all know what rhinestones is. Okay? You haven't even, and I don't mean Swarovski crystals either. I'm talking rhinestones, plastic. Okay? In order to get to the point of being a diamond, VVS quality, you have to go through the fire. It's the only way to get there. Everybody is not able to handle that. It's not, everybody's not able to handle it. So, you know, I take this very seriously, and I'm not going to let anybody take advantage of a victim and disavow her because she's not capable of explaining it the way I would explain it. I'm going to stand in solidarity for her to have her day in court. And listen, a day in court is not always the guarantee that you will get justice, because I had a day in court and their money was long enough to withhold justice from me. But you see, that times such as this, baby, redemption is mine. Victory is mine. He is sitting where people, many people, thousands of people told me he would never be sitting. He is there. This Babylon wall is being torn down. Truth is prevailing, and recompense is mine. They all fall down. When you get up, it all falls down. All falls down. And I mean that. And so I'm going to continue this good walk, this righteous walk. I'm going to continue to wear my breastplate of righteousness, the full armor of God, have my sword, and continue this fight. I'm going to see it through all the way until the good Lord calls me home. And I mean that with every fiber of my being. So, young lady Jane Doe, you don't stand alone. Trust and believe. If this message ever happens to get to you, or if it never gets to you, I'm going to continue to pray intercession that you know you don't stand alone. If anybody, at some point in this journey, if anybody knows her, if anybody gets her name, whatever, send her my love and my prayers, because I'll be sending them. Send her a word to let her know she doesn't stand alone. Everybody's not equipped to stand up and rage against the machine and fight back, but I am. And I tell you, people, just like what Brian Enton from News Nation said to me, he said he was unbothered. He repeated it twice. Go look at it. He said he was unbothered. He used the word unbothered. He was so unbothered. That's why they didn't take a plea, because he knew he didn't do anything wrong. He was unbothered. I said, unbothered? Go back and look at the video, boo. I was there. He lost 45 pounds. He started at that first press conference with that old coked out, smoked out attorney, and he was bulky and firm. By the time he was walking into court, them suits were swimming on him. He was emaciated. You could see his bony prominence in his jaw. He lost so much weight, he looked sick. Sick. You won't tell me he said he was unbothered? Well, guess what? What you're speaking is conjecture and innuendo and speculation. I was physically there. I saw him with my own eyes, just like I saw him when he pow-powed me. I saw him. In the West Indies, we say, "Him maga like dog." Him was maga Andrado. You cannot tell me what I know for a fact. I was there. The rest are speculating. You're looking at old footage and thinking, thoughting, sawing. I don't know. I heard, I thought. I know. That's the difference. Whole lot of people got conjecture and speculation. And if you know otherwise and you were there, come to the front of the room and speak out. Contradict me, prove me wrong, because I got the footage to prove it. I got the footage to prove it. Guys, I love you guys. I'm not going to stay long. We're at the 2-hour mark, 2 hours and 9 minutes. You know, I got to go hang out with Grandma Baby. We got to go play some games. And what are we going to do, Grandma Baby?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, Grandma Baby's
Draw
here.
and sketch.
She said we're going to draw and we're going to sketch. I appreciate you guys so much. Be sure to throw up the likes. Please like, share this video, get it out to people. Let them hear these facts because we have to stop this game that's being played. You are absolutely welcome. Shout out to everybody who saw fit to come here with us today. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend it with us. And we are so eternally grateful. We appreciate you guys. Marsha Guy said, thank you, Natanya, for everything. You are absolutely unequivocally welcome. Kraken said, go love on your baby. Thank you. Beverly George said, love you all. Real as it gets said, great live. God bless you. Locke said, Beverly George, we love you too. Sharon Dorsey said, much love, Natanya and mods and fam. Night. Much love to you too. Nicole Ann said, yes, amen. So glad to catch the tail end. And you also can watch it in a replay gang, guys. Thank you so much, Michelle. I will go enjoy my grandbaby. Grandma baby. Thank you, Michael. You're very welcome to go when you like. Enjoy yourself and God bless you all. Amen, sister. Amen, brother. I appreciate it. Real as it gets says, I'm crying. Don't cry. Why are you crying? Don't cry. And listen, it's okay to cry. Tears are purification for the soul. Hey, Keisha. Keisha said, miss you so much. Thank God you're all well. Hey, Keisha, how you doing, honey? Jules Awake says, good night and blessings. Carrie Ann says, amen. Diane said, peace and love to all. Locke said, join the Nerd Herd birthday list today, where you can also comment and more. And I know we have some birthdays coming up. Let me check this thing.
My friend Sophia at school, her birthday is January 3rd.
It is?
Yes.
Wow.
And one of my other friends, Karina, her birthday is literally the day after Christmas.
Guys, my granddaughter texted me from the bed. Nicole said, you are cathartic. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You guys are cathartic for me. I promise you.
What is that?
Cathartic is soothing and passive. It has a pacifying feeling. It is just a cleansing, good feeling for the soul. Cathartic.
So what?
Cathartic. Cathartic.
Is this it?
Cathartic. Lakeisha, one of the dope mods, said, thank you all for tuning into the live stream.
Cathartic?
Yes.
Okay.
We appreciate each and every one of you. Michelle said, hearts. Keisha said, hey, just fine. Grace said, bless you, Natanya. Thank you, Grace. I appreciate you. Bless you too. Shannon says, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. Yes, absolutely. That's a great way to use it.
And I said, you are so cathartic.
She sent a text to her mother that said, you are so cathartic. Sweet baby. Caring for her friends. Oh, that is too funny. Michelle said, mine is January 30th. Excuse me, guys. Human Nature says, good night, all. I think I'm missing some of these. Lisa Bruno said, love watching you. Good night to you and your mods. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Locke said, there's levels to this ish. Are you the teacher's pets? Become one today. Membership tiers start at $3.99. Become a member today. Show your support for your girl, the dopest nerd. I love you so much. I love you so much. Real as it gets says, we are in a spiritual war. Please stay prayed up. Asheo. I had my grandbaby 2 days. Now I miss her something crazy. Listen, Keisha, I feel you, girl. When I tell you, as soon as we went up to her recital today, and all the family was there. Her grandmother on the other side, everybody was there. And
Ashley,
cousins, everybody came out to support her. And my son was like,
but the only thing is a few people weren't there because they were in New York.
That's okay.
I mean, two of my cousins.
And she was like, I'm going with grandma baby. I said, come on, girl.
Because Daddy said I could stay with you for the weekend.
That's right.
Yeah. I was excited. I was like, he was like, you're going to go to grandma's for the weekend. I was like, yeah.
You hear that? Trying to be a teacher's pet. Come on, honey. Come join the class.
What's a teacher's pet?
That's what we call my membership levels, the being a teacher's pet.
What's the actual teacher's pet?
So we have 3 levels. It's the Urkel level, like, did I do that? Steve Urkel. And Poindexter level, because Poindexter is a classic nerd name, and Encyclopedia Browns. That's what they used to call Grandma when she was little.
Well, what's an actual teacher's pet like in school?
Oh, a teacher's pet means someone that a teacher has an affinity for, and so they let you like clean the erasers, erase the board, do little special privileges and things for the teachers.
For us, that's kind of like the teacher helper. Because we have different jobs every week. And like, so far I've been line leader, door holder, and this week I was teacher helper.
You were the line leader? Go girl.
First line leader,
Keisha said,
holder, then teacher helper.
What do you want us to do with all the scriptures? I've read them all. Continue to read them, continue to meditate on them, share them with others, and develop this. Just develop it as a repetitive action in your life, and start to. I want you guys all doing manifestations. Don't even say I wish or I want. Speak a thing as though it is something that is not like it is already. Speak that which is not as though it is already. So you just say, I am. I am healthy. I am healed. I am whole of mind, body, soul, spirit, flesh, and finances. I am a good steward of my children's future. I am God's chosen one. I am a grandma baby. I am, if you want to be married, you have to say, I am a phenomenal wife and I am very pleased that I have a magnificent husband. Speaks those things that are not as though they are. You don't become a wife once you meet a guy. You are a wife already. Oh, Grace said your granddaughter. She pointed it out, Grace. She pointed, your granddaughter makes me smile. Love listening to her. How old is she? She's 8. Say your manifestations over and over all day until they become so commonplace. You're going to start manifesting and seeing these things happen in real time in your life. Trust me. I say every day, all my bills are paid and all my debts are canceled. I say it every day. Say it. All my bills are paid and all my debts are canceled. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. I love your heart to disciple. Thank you so much. Shout out to you, Keisha. She said, I've been reading them twice a day. Great. Absolutely. Continue to read them. Thank you. There you go. DJ mixes and said, I am winning the Mega Millions jackpot. See, and say, I am so happy that I won the Mega Millions. Your brain doesn't know it didn't happen already. It'll make it happen. A wife of a noble character does her husband good all the days of her life. Indeed, Asheo. Sam 3 said, hello, beautiful souls. Greetings, greetings. Muff said, it's 11:31 here where I am in South Carolina. I love you guys. Love you guys too. I appreciate you guys. Continue to be a blessing. Oh, look, she keeps pointing them out. So cute. Go Natanya, granddaughter. Listen.
Thank you.
She said, thank you. I want you guys to think of 10 things that you are grateful for and write them down. In the morning when you are brushing your teeth and you are looking at yourself in the mirror, get some Post-it notes and put them on your bathroom mirror.
For Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving has already passed.
It did. Put them on some Post-it notes and post them to your mirror and say them to yourself. Look yourself in the eyes and say, you are magnificent. You are brilliant. You're a genius. You are worthy. You are loved. You are worth it. You have merit. You have value. And say those things to yourself. You are prosperous in every way. You are healed of mind, body, soul, spirit, flesh, and finances. All of your bills are paid and all of your debts are canceled. God loves you. You are a child of God. You are chosen. You are valued. You are called and qualified. Say these things. Look yourself in the face while you're brushing your teeth. Just make it common practice. Because guess what? If you are not your own cheerleader, no one will be. If you sit around waiting for someone to champion your cause, you may be waiting eternally. It is incumbent upon us. We have to be our own best friends first. And then everyone will be attracted to our self-love. Once you love yourself so much and you root for yourself so much and you have this just beautiful energy in your spirit and your soul, it's going to radiate outward. And once it radiates outward, people will be attracted to it. And so that right there is just is the sum total of it all. It's just what it is. I say it all the time. I pray for my entire family every morning that I get up. And I also say for those known and unknown, named and unnamed, but I call my family members' names. I call their names. And even to extended ones, I may say, for my aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, cousins, those known and unknown, named and unnamed, that have our highest and best interests at heart. I pray for my ancestors. I call their names. I say how they've blessed my life, what's so uniquely special about our relationship, and how I thank them for being a blessing for this, that in my life. I go and I pray for the future generations to come. I pray that we are good stewards of what God has given us, and that we are living according to his will and his way for our life, that we are laying a foundation of excellence so that when our future generations come to this realm, they start out life at a higher plateau and they avoid all the pitfalls that we had to endure needlessly, so they can be a better person to themselves, to their families, to their tribes, to their community, to the global world at large. And I say that every single day, every day. It's so commonplace. It just rolls off my tongue. Okay. Locke said, Lakeisha, I have a Bible question. Can you remind me to ask you later? Hey, Shushu. Comment ça va, chérie? I love you guys so much. I love you guys so much. Continue to be a blessing to yourself, to everybody in your circle. Remember what I said, 3 compliments a day at minimum. Somebody needs it. There's somebody that you're going to touch in a way, it is going to be cathartic for them. Let's be that blessing to ourselves. Say something kind to yourself and three kind things to other people. So 4 a day, one at a minimum of 1 to yourself, but definitely 3 outside as well. Okay? Love you guys. Ça va bien et toi? Merci. Ça va bien.
Huh? What does that mean?
I told you what that means. Cut it out. Your other grandma don't tell you comment ça va? I always tell you.
I don't remember.
You better remember.
I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
At all.
I love you guys so much. See? This is true nerd stuff. Correcting your own. I love it. I love it. You know I love that stuff.
Good. How come this is stuck on
Sleep
here?
well, guys. Yes. Je parle français. Yo habla español. And a lot of other stuff. Patois and all of that. My granddaughters. Oh, somebody said, good night, grandma baby. What do you say, grandma baby?
Good night.
She said, good night to all.
And to all, good night.
She said, good night to all, and to all a good night. And Just Telling the Truth said, thank you to whoever gifted me a membership. Thank you. That was so sweet. Nicole said, muy bien.
Membership.
My granddaughter said the only membership she knows is a Costco membership. Guys, I appreciate you so much. I love you so much. Go be great. Sleep well. And until we meet again. Mwah.